Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is a join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that.
Well, the former head of state, Edgar Lungu, is making the news again. For a man that has been out of the country for the most part of 2025, he dominates the news for some reason. And every now and then he just puts up a post on his Facebook page. He hasn't been seen publicly, at least, for throughout 2025, pretty much. The last time we saw him publicly should have been in 2024 at one of the PF events, or if not, accompanying the wife at the court for her court appearances for a number of court cases that she has of proceeds believed to be proceeds of crime. I mean, property believed to be proceeds of crime cases. But since then, the former head of state has been off the grid, apart from his Facebook page putting up a number of posts. And recently, the permanent secretary for media, pretty much Kawana, had a press briefing, should have been 3 days ago, which has trended for a while, where he put up a number of allegations. They say actually President Hakainde Hichilema and Edgar Lungu do talk, and why the former head of state Edgar Lungu is out of the country is because he's not well. Let me just give you a synopsis of what happened. Let me just let you have it. So according to Real Times, so these are some of the things the Kawana says. Let's pray for Edgar Lungu Kawana, as he clears the air that Nawakwi was not an enemy of President Hakainde Hichilema. So some of the statements he had issued to say there was no enmity between Hakainde Hichilema and the late Edith Nawakwi, apart from political differences, and then that the people that caused the rift between Edgar Lungu and Hakainde Hichilema, the people around them. And in spite of the extract, he says actually Edgar Lungu had told him, Kawana, to say, it's the people, you people that are around Hakainde Hichilema and the people that are around me that caused the rift. Otherwise, me and my brother, be referring to Edgar Lungu and Hakainde Hichilema, do talk and have no differences, allegedly. And it was a very colorful press briefing. But obviously, the public, there was a public backlash that made the chief government spokesperson is boss, pretty much the minister of media, that's to respond, and it was a colorful response, I'll show you. And then Emmanuel Wamba says Edgar Lungu is very sick. Ministry of Information. So he says, so that's a statement that came from Ministry of Information, referring to Kawana's statement. Then again, another statement, Edgar Lungu is visiting Harare State House, at least agree on one lie. So he says, two sides of the story coming out. Media PS or information PS says Edgar Lungu is very sick, and then the State House also is also alleging to say he's actually visiting Harare. If you remember, there was even a post that Mansamp had put up to say he was compelled to even call the people that are around Edgar Lungu to find out if he had gone to Harare or Zimbabwe, which wasn't the case. So Mano Mbabamba is simply laughing at them to say, I mean, pick a line. Which one is it? Is it Edgar Lungu? And so it goes further to. So according to Kalemba, and they put up a post saying, Lungu recently underwent chemotherapy. Pray for him, government. So Kalemba said that statement comes from government. And government has confirmed that former President Edgar Lungu recently underwent chemotherapy in South Africa. And President Hakainde Hichilema is in constant communication with him to check on his predecessor's road to recovery. Uh, in speaking at a press briefing in Lusaka today, Minister of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Kawana revealed that the former president is currently under review, just waiting on his doctors to determine his next step. Kawana encouraged Zambians to unite and pray for full recovery of former head of state. He urged the country to desist from dragging his Lungu's name into politics, adding that the former president was not even active on social media, as shown by his recent statements on the death of former cabinet minister Edith Nawakwi. So you can see those allegations to say Lungu is actually going under chemotherapy, as reported by Kalemba. They're simply quoting Kawana's statement there, and that Hakainde Hichilema and Edgar Chagwa are in constant contact there. So some of the communications, to which immediately after there was backlash from the public with regard to that statement. Obviously, after people that are close to Edgar Chagwa, that's Emmanuel Mwamba and them, put up statement to say they've not been communicating. Cornelius Mwetwa had his own press briefing, or pretty much put up his own statement. So according to a Daily Liberation newspaper there, which was quoted by Smart Eagles, they say, Kawana disowned. Cornelius Mwetwa has distanced government from Kawana's public statement, which he took time to discuss, in which he took time to discuss the health status of former president without express permission from him, stating that in fact, Information and Media Permanent Secretary spoke in his personal capacity, referring, so pretty much the boss has ditched him, disowned, spoke in his personal capacity. Mr. Mwetwa, the Minister of Information and Media, has stated that Mr. Kawana said at what Mr. Kawana said at his media briefing, at which he discussed the health status of former President Lungu, is not government position. These are literally in the same ministry. Man. But yeah, so Kawana's statement was in his personal capacity, but he was using the Minister of Information as the place where he held that press briefing. You tend to wonder, and there it's in the news again, that's in the Daily Nation, Kawana disowned, pretty much Cornelius Mwetwa trending there, referring to him saying what he said was in his personal capacity and not representative of what the government position or the UPND information. But then again, if the Permanent Secretary of Information can be disregarded and said, no, it's in his personal capacity, what would make Cornelius Mwetwa's statement more standing? Because if he goes something wrong again, someone above him is going to say, no, actually, it's also in his personal capacity. Communication is a key, man. And obviously, Edgar Chagwa responded immediately. So after this statement, I'll say, Hakainde Hichilema doesn't talk to me, Edgar Chagwa there. That's in the Daily Nation there. So the rebuttal say, I do not talk to that person. And this is what Edgar said just over hours ago, actually. For sure, I do not talk to President Hakainde Hichilema, as falsely claimed by some top government officials this week. I am still shocked by the scope of lies, as well as the degree of falsehood and miscommunication or misinformation that Hakainde Hichilema often calls and checks on Edgar Chagwa. He puts it in quote. Wait, and then he puts up an emoji there, wondering, say, wait, who? And then he goes further to say, when our political leaders always find pleasure in dishonest utterance and telling lies to the nation, we must be more concerned and worried as citizens. Please, this political culture of proudly telling lies and fully cheating people must come to an end. So Edgar Chagwa says, I do not talk to President Hakainde Hichilema, neither does President Hakainde Hichilema call me. So that statement that came from the Permanent Secretary for Media is a lie, in short. That's what Edgar is saying there. That's on his official Facebook page. And obviously now the nation was worried. Kawana spoke about Edgar Lungu's health status in his own personal capacity. He didn't get permission from me, Cornelius Mwetwa. And then obviously Reverend Walter Mwambazi wonders say, this is so embarrassing bad. That's a caption of the Reverend Walter Mwambazi. The United Party for National Development, UPND, has historically bad information dissemination. But this takes the cream, like this is the highest level of misinformation and PR blunders. They are so bad at this whole information and PR thing. They are now officially in intensive care unit of PR or public relations. How sure? I'm so stumped. He's just in shock of what has happened. Literally, the two most senior people in the Ministry of Information are having two different press briefings. And what people might not understand, why Kawana is compelled to hold those press briefings and stuff like that. If you remember, what helped him to even become permanent secretary from, I think he was the director of, I can't remember what, director of a new position that was created in Ministry of Information, which now Henry Kapata holds. Used to pretty much like if an opposition person is having a press briefing or a media appearance, he would call in, sometimes even appear on that. So those stunts helped him to get the job. So now that he's in the job, we expect him to maintain the same. Eventually, obviously, he might even want to become the Minister of Information. So you can see that wrangle between the two might be stemming from that. And then Reverend Walter Mwambazi goes further to say, an afterthought. If the United Party for National Development, UPND, loses in 2026 elections, it will be because of their terrible public relations and information dissemination. How can they be so bad? How, honestly, he wonders to say. And then Susan responds to him to say, I think they do agree and share the information, and one of them agrees to take the blame. It is a well-calculated move to like suicide bombers, according to Susan. The permanent secretary had an agenda, well-written, and obviously went through approval before he could hold the press briefing on behalf of government. All they wanted to do is to tell the nation that Lungu has cancer, and they did it. So she says, actually, what looks like confusion might be a well-calculated move, where Kawana puts up a lot of allegations and tells the nation to say President Edgar Lungu is suffering from cancer. And then obviously his boss, Cornelius Mwetwa, comes up to say, no, that statement was actually not from government. He issued in his personal capacity. But the information they wanted to communicate is to say Edgar Lungu is sick and is suffering from cancer and they went through chemotherapy. Which information has gone out there? Anything else, the blunders, if it goes to show they will only come to fire Kawana, obviously he'll still be in the system and benefit, but it looks like a strategy, she alleges to say. It could be, but the confusion looks like what PF was having right before the 2021 elections, where everybody was trying to make their own name by being seen more to hold more press briefings in the name of Edgar Lungu or in defense of Edgar Lungu. But in reality, everyone was in it for themselves. And looks more similar to that situation where everyone is in it for themselves. They're trying to look good to the appointing authority, obviously, President Naga in them by doing more damage to the opposition. But most of these things, when there is a backlash, you start doing damage control. In that case, obviously, people just having a debate over the same. And then obviously, the patriotic fans say President Lungu refutes Kawana's statement. Edgar doesn't talk to me, obviously, there. And then Nawakwi saw a death coming. That's in the day liberation. Chose a casket and flowers, family member. So she'll be put to rest today. Edith Nawakwi. And that's the news, ladies and gentlemen.